Hello everyone, welcome back. The first coverage, Curious Harry and Arun Foot, and now with me, Arnav and Rain. So, topic of the day is India's final squad for the World Cup qualifiers against Afghanistan. We've got a 25-man squad. We're going to run through the goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and forwards. We're going to take your suggestions. We're going to discuss the omissions that have been made from the initial probables that were announced. We'll deliberate upon whether these calls are right by Coach Igor Stimac, present our opinion. Um, yeah, that's that. Before we dive into the goalkeepers, now happy with the squad that's been announced.
Good evening, everyone. I would say overall, yes. There's the one or the other omission, which I think comes maybe as a surprise, where I would have thought that they would have made it. I think Putia, for me, for quite a while, deserves to be called up. The other one most probably is Nanda Kumar. Otherwise, yeah, the usual suspects. I think we've got a few injuries. I think Lalchalunga is injured. Pritam picked up an injury the other day. Purvala Chempa picked up an injury. So get a few. And then some of the others have, of course, Narendra, Isaac Ralte, they've been sent to the under 23s. So that I think, yeah, that's the situation with it.
बैकग्राउंड नॉइस आ रहा है कहीं
Yeah.
अच्छा अच्छा सर से आ रहा है ओके
Now, come on here in Miren, let's run through the goalkeepers. I know I mentioned Lachenpa, who was the other keeper on this list, but he's not made it. So it's good. It's Gurpreet, Amrinder, and Vishal Keth, the usual guys. Looks pretty straightforward. Hiren, doesn't it? Gurpreet will probably start and goal for India. Expecting any surprises at all?
एंड टू बी ऑनेस्ट आई मतलब आई थिंक जो सर ने बोला आई थिंक सही है कि फुटबॉल एचएम ना मेरे हिसाब से भी डिजर्व करते थे बट ड्यू टू द इंजरी इन द लास्ट मैच आई थिंक दैट वाज वन ऑफ द रीजन एंड विशाल के गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू अमरिंदर सिंह आई डोंट थिंक सो कि गोस टू मैच कीपर में उतना कोई चेंजेस वैसे भी करने वाले थे आई थिंक दैट्स फॉर श्योर but I would love to see Football Legend after whenever you can see he gets fixed because I think he is a interesting profile and there is a very I would say maybe is the only proper you can say sweeper keeper type role he can play. So I definitely want to see him in the national team, but unfortunately he picks up an injury in the last match of Mumbai City FC. Other than that, I think as usual, I think Vishal Keth is doing well for Mohan Bagan. Gurpreet Singh Sandhu last match he's done well. Amrinder Singh is doing okay average. So I think there is a not you can see much you can do, and there are a limited options also if you see. So I'm happy with the keepers.
Yep. Amal's asking why not Putea. Amal will go to the midfielders, but let's run through the defenders before that. Yeah, I think goalkeepers like Hiren, you just mentioned, pretty straightforward. Unfortunate that football Ashenpa couldn't get in because like you, even I want to see him in India shirt. At some point, I think he's got some incredible qualities that we'd like to see, and he's quite an exciting option in goal. Anava will discuss the defenders, and we'll probably have a lengthy discussion on these defenders. Kash Mishra, Mehtab Singh, Rahul Beke, Nikhil Pujari, Sushish Bose, Anwar Ali, Amer Ranawade, and Jay Gupta. In a way, you've got 3 left backs, and then you've got 2 right backs. Is that how you're looking at it, Anwar? And they've gone with an extra full back here?
I rather look at it and saying that if my logic of thinking regarding injuries is right, then I think that, as I said, Lalchalunga and Pritam are supposedly injured, and Narendra has been put to the under 23s, and Roshan is the omission in this. So that's, I think, the logic at the moment in how the squad has been put together by the coach.
I was surprised with Jay Gupta's inclusion.
No, I think he wants to try him out, but it comes at an interesting time because you saw yesterday that even Manolo Marquez put him on the bench and tried out Narayan Das because he has not been happy with his performances. So yeah, for Jay Gupta, it's good to get a look and feel into the national team and then hopefully improve himself and then maybe become an option, a real option for the coach down the road.
Yep, absolutely. Then another sort of choice that's interesting is Amay Ranawade's inclusion. I think we spoke about it. He was there in the probables. We weren't sure if he's going to make it to the final cut. Make the final cut, but probably been the best right back in the league for you. You think so far in the ISL this season?
I think for me, he's currently the most informed, I would say, fullback, and he deserved to be into the squad. To be honest, I think he has been done really well. For me, is I would choose over him Nikhil Pujari. To be honest, I think because I think Nikhil Pujari is a little bit, you can say, struggling in the defense. He is very good in offense, but I think that Emir Ranawade is very good in offense. Little bit better than I would say in Nikhil Pujari in defense. So I would prefer Emir Ranawade, and he should be into the squad because आई थिंक रोशन सिंह को ड्रॉप किया है। रोशन सिंह का ये सीजन देखेंगे तो पूरा काफी ज्यादा अप एंड डाउन वाला रहा है, सस्पेंड हुए बीच में। फॉर्म भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो उतना कंसिस्टेंट नहीं रहा है जो आप उनसे एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं। उसमें टीम का भी रोल है, ऐसा कि सिर्फ उसका है। आई थिंक टीम की परफॉर्मेंस भी ऊपर नीचे आई है, सो उसकी वजह से भी वो थोड़ा सा उसके ऊपर भी इफेक्ट आया है। जैसे चेगुप्ता स्टार्टिंग में फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द सीजन में टीम अच्छा कर रही थी, चेगुप्ता साइनिंग सेकंड हाफ में इस तरह से थोड़ी सी टीम क्या बोलते हैं कि स्ट्रगल की, तो चेगुप्ता भी स्ट्रगल करते हुए दिखे थे। बट I think Emir Ranawade deserve into the squad. So I think that's a good selection. I would say because he recently played AFC Cup matches also. So ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ ISL में अच्छा कर रहे हैं, AFC Cup matches में भी उस intensity में भी his looks मतलब good. So I think in that sense he deserve to be into the squad.
Sorry guys, just second with the camera. Another just any updates on the Afghanistan team? Are they playing with their first 11?
As far as I understand, that some of the first, some of the players have come back, but not all. So there is still an issue with Ashley Westwood has not been able to convince all players to come back. Certain players are still saying, I don't want to play. So not 100% sorted in the Afghanistan Federation and Afghanistan squad. So that's the situation as it stands at the moment.
Sagar bhai बोल रहे कि I saw Nikhil live yesterday at Patoda. He was average in going forward before Suresh was sent off.
See, the point is that again, Nikhil or any other player, again, he will have a good day, have a bad day. Again, Amar Ranawade has been good in the ISL, but again, Amar Ranawade also against Central Coast Mariners, you saw that the Australians are of a different level, a different quality. So these guys have their issues and have their problems. So that's the thing from where we stand and where the issues are with all these players. Amay also belongs to the players who's better in his attacking sense than in his defensive sense. Otherwise, he would be at the moment playing at Mumbai City. He was, before his serious injury, he was the number one right back at Mumbai City. So therefore, yeah, it's a difficult one. Again, who do you go for? What do you want to play? And again, against Afghanistan, we have to play differently than what we played against Australia, Uzbekistan, and Syria in the Asian Cup.
It's interesting. This, of course, we'll run through the rest as well. But you're starting fullbacks because that's an interesting question that I just want to know from you before we move on.
I will go with Akash Mishra and Emir Ranawade.
Interesting. Another Nikhil Pujari. You think he's first choice or is it Amay?
I would think that Nikhil is first choice. I think there's no doubt about it.
Ego Stimich will for me Ego Stimich will start with Nikhil Pujari, but for me
exactly.
I would go with
the point is the problem is that what we want or what you guys want, it does not matter. I'm talking from what I think that Igor will do, and Nikhil Pujari, he has picked him over the last few months, even in matches where he didn't play well, and this is and therefore he for me starts. I don't see him giving someone a debut, except if there are injury problems. I don't see anyone getting a debut directly at the starting level.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Guys, midfielders now. Anilo Thapa, Brandon Fernandez, Liston Colasso, Mahesh Singh Nawaran, Abdul Samad. You've got Suresh Singh Wangjam, Jeekson Singh, Deepak Tangri, Apuya, and Imran Khan has made it to the Indian team. It's an interesting one. Hiren, surprised Imran eventually made it because I actually didn't expect him to.
नहीं when the probable announced, उससे पहले मैंने एक वीडियो बनाई थी कि what will be the probables of World Cup qualifiers, तो उसमें मैंने इमरान को रखा था because अगर उनकी परफॉर्मेंस आप देखोगे it's been brilliant. और ऐसा नहीं कि इस सीजन ही अच्छा कर रहे हैं, नॉर्थ ईस्ट यूनाइटेड लास्ट सीजन स्ट्रगल कर रही थी, बट उसका इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंस अगर आप देखोगे तो he has been good enough. एंड एक आपको ऐसा अगर आप देखेंगे सहल अब्दुल समद जैसे इगोस्ट ने बोला कि फुल रिदम में नहीं है, उस सेंस में ब्रेंडन भी इन एंड आउट रहा है एफसी गोवा में, कुछ मैचेस मिस किए हैं, तो उस सेंस में अगर आपको कोई एक अटैकिंग प्लेयर चाहिए तो आई थिंक ही कैन बी दैट प्लेयर एंड अच्छा उनके पास फर्स्ट टच है, इज बीन गुड इन पासिंग आल्सो, सो आई थिंक इज ए और ऐसे अपने करियर के एज पे है कि जहाँ पे जनरली हम देखते हैं कि इंडियन प्लेयर अपना थोड़ा सा जो पीक आता है वो उस एज पे, नो नॉट टू यंग नॉट टू यू कैन सी की ओल्ड, सो आई थिंक it's interesting to see. I don't think so he will get too many minutes to be honest, but if he gets, I think he is a interesting prospect. So फाइनल स्कोर में मैंने एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था टू बी ऑनेस्ट, मुझे लगा था कि शायद उसको ड्रॉप कर देंगे। एंड दूसरा एक डेफिनेटली जो मिडफील्ड में मिस है पूतिया, आई थिंक जैसे स्टार्टिंग में बोला, आई थिंक ही डिजर्व इनटू द स्कोर, आई थिंक इन प्लेस ऑफ अनिरुद्ध थापा टू बी ऑनेस्ट। आई थिंक अनिरुद्ध थापा आई थिंक लास्ट 6-7 मैचेस में मोहन बगान की ओर से भी उसको शायद मिनट्स नहीं मिले हैं, सो आई थिंक ही शुड बी ड्रॉप एंड उसकी जगह पे मैं पूतिया को देखना चाहता था। अदर देन दैट ऑल द मिडफील्डर, आई थिंक जिक्सन के बारे में बोल सकते हो कि थोड़ा सा वो भी अभी फुल फॉर्म में या फिर रिदम में नहीं है। आई थिंक अपुया डूइंग वेल, सुरेश अवांगजम इज डूइंग वेल, दीपक टांगरे इज डूइंग ओके, सो आई थिंक ऑल द अदर मिडफील्डर आर डूइंग गुड, सो दैट्स द गुड थिंग, बट फॉर मी आई थिंक द ओनली चेंज जो मैं देख रहा था वो है कि अनिरुद्ध थापा की जगह पे पूतिया।
Yeah, I think it's one player that we have. Everybody's a fan of. I don't think Putea feels like one of those players who will not have split opinion. I think everybody loves him because he puts in the work and he does a good job in the midfield. Another, the good news is that we finally have sort of our full midfield to choose from. And you've got Sahal, you've got Jeekson, you've got Anirudh Thapa, you've got Suresh, Apuya, everyone. With the midfield that we have, you think it's going to trouble Igor Stimac to pick his best three, because some players have done well in the ISL, some players have done well for the national team. It's a mixed bag.
I think the biggest challenge for Igor Stimac will be to see in what kind of form the players are. Hiren has mentioned Anirudh Thapa has been struggling since his injury. The same can be said about Jeekson as well. So, and those are sort of, I would have said a year ago, most probably potential regular starters. Like Sahal has also not been that good since injury. So potential regular first 11 players are facing issues, facing problems. So the question is now, how does the coach compensate? Does he go with, for example, informed players? Deepak Tangri played a good game the other night. Even scored a goal for Mohun Bagan at the Blasters. Apuya came back very, very strongly. Did very, very well the other day against Northeast United. And then the question of, do I put in Suresh or do I put someone with creativity in there? Because we were talking about it yesterday. The more I think about it, I'm surprised about, now Saragossa is now the next coach who's falling into this trap of trying to blame it on the referee, blame it on the player. It's a stupid thing to do. Sorry, it's a red card. We had this situation yesterday in Leverkusen. I mean, Bayer Leverkusen was probably the comeback of the century yesterday in the Europa League. And one of the players, the Azerbaijani players, wants to do a high five with the ref and he turns his yellow into a red, So, yeah, it's again, these are all things, and I think we need to find the best 11 perform. Who can perform and how will they perform, and that's the challenge of the coach. And to me, Sahal and Brandon, I don't see many of those two starting. They've not convinced me in the last few weeks. They've been poor, to say the least. That's why I say I would have preferred Deepak Tangri and Putea as the screens and give Apuya the free role. Show what you've learned from because he can showcase himself of how it does, and with how he can make something out of nothing, and what he's learned also, especially from Ahmed Chahu. I think that is the interesting part, that Putea and Apuya have learned a lot from him. So therefore, yeah, let's see what they can do.
Yeah, Hiren, I think it's going to be an important area in the field, because if you actually look at it, India are probably the biggest side, the better side, coming up against Afghanistan. So you'd expect this midfield to dominate. And are you looking at it that way, that we're going to have a lot of the ball and a midfield is going to be very important? We need those technical players in there tomorrow. Sorry, not tomorrow, for the
Exactly.
game. sake. Yeah.
एग्री यस 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 कंप्लीटली एग्री बिकॉज इसीलिए मैंने बोला ना कि थापा की और जो सर ने भी बोला जो सहल एंड ब्रेंडन का फॉर्म कंसर्न चीज है और खुद ईगो टीममेट्स ने एक्सेप्ट किया है। ऐसी बात नहीं है कि हम बोल रहे हैं, उन्होंने खुद ने बोला है कि सहल अनवर अली एंड आपका जिक्सन सिंह दे आर ऑन नॉट इन अ गुड रिदम, सो यू नीड ए प्लेयर विद द आप एक ऐसे हाई एल्टीट्यूड पे खेल रहे हो, सो यू नीड ए दैट काइंड ऑफ यू कैन से कि फुल्ली फिट player who is in informant. Putia deserve to be why Putia के लिए काफी सारे लोग बोल रहे हैं because he is in a very good form and अगर आप ऐसे फॉर्म में प्लेयर को नहीं सिलेक्ट करोगे तो कब करोगे? When will you select it? So you need a that kind of player जो कि एक अच्छे मोमेंटम के साथ। विक्रम प्रताप सिंह के बारे में क्यों बात हो रही कि he should be in starting eleven? क्योंकि आपके पास अगर जितने भी he is currently the best player who is really बाकी बात करते इवन सुनील छेत्री is been struggling in ISL मैंने देखा है, so I think in that sense that's why I think पूतिया की जगह बनती थी and midfield should be dominating without a doubt। राहुल I completely agree कि अफगानिस्तान के सामने आपको अगर अफगानिस्तान के सामने डोमिनेट नहीं करोगे तो फिर तो मतलब कहाँ करोगे, वो वाली भी चीज है। so ये एक क्वेश्चन आई थिंक
Hiren, I have another feeling what he might do again is if I'm looking at to potentially play Changte and Vikram wide, I could play Manvir as a striker and Sunil as the withdrawn player. What he's done against Kuwait away as well. So he might play with that, and I think Vikram deserves a start for what he's done in the last 2 weeks. Vikram has the attitude because you will need against Afghanistan physicality. I cannot. For me, that will be a factor against Afghanistan, that some of our technical players, Imran belongs to it, Mahesh belongs to it, who are not physically as strong, and especially Mahesh was exposed in the Asian Cup with all the technical abilities he has, but he was pushed around in some of the matches, amongst others by Groma. I would rather say, I would rather say that, if I'm looking to potentially, play around with Sunil, with Manvir, even saying Manvir can inter-switch now with Changte, inter-switch with the Vikram. I think we've got, and even with Sunil, I think we've got multiple options to play around if that is maybe the attacking unit that we might go for.
Is there a shout for Deepak Tangri by any chance to start this game?
I think he has to. If you see his performance since the Asian Cup, Deepak Tangri playing the Asian Cup has helped him. I feel deep, and the combination of the Asian Cup and thereafter also, Habas working on him, I feel he's a much better player at the moment.
That's interesting because because I mean it would suggest that you're going a little defensive. I don't know, you wouldn't mind that message going across to the other team.
Deepak Tangri scored the other day a goal from a header, and he has gone up from Mohan Bagan as well. So I think Deepak Tangri now, if you compare Deepak Tangri, let's say in December 2023, and you look at this Deepak Tangri in March 2024, I would say Deepak Tangri is a much better player. He's learned a lot in the last 3 months. He's picked up, and I need physicality against Afghanistan. I can't take the risk of Suresh losing his head. So therefore, for me, Tangri and Apuya in that position, and then decide who you're going to put in. If we had some of these boys in form, then you could have thought about it. But if I also see yesterday how much of running Sunil was doing, again, Vikram and Changte, that is something which to me is a must, and Manvir as well. These are the guys who are in form at the moment. So therefore, that would be my unit. And then again, with the rest we can play around, but that's, we know that he'll most probably play Nikhil. It's a toss-up between Akash and Shubhashish. And then the question is, who joins Anwar at the back? Is it BK? Maybe he might even say play Shubhashish with him, right? With Anwar, because they've played together at Mohan Bagan. So therefore, there are a few options. But, and Igor likes to surprise. So let's wait and see who plays on the 21st night.
It's going to be fun. But let's just run through the forwards as well. So, Chetri, Lalinzwala, Changte, Manveer Singh, and Vikram Pratap Singh. Of course, again, I'm chucking into the mix for the front three, you've got a couple of wide players who've been mentioned in the midfielders list. Listen, Colasso, for example. You've also got Mahesh in there. So these are the two wingers who could potentially play in that front three as well. Hiren, front three pretty straightforward, like Arnav mentioned, because Vikram Pratap probably deserves that start, and there's the option of playing Sunil Chetri as a sort of number 10, allowing Manveer to play as a striker, and you've got Chanke on the other wing. Any shout at all for Mahesh and somebody like him?
I think Mahesh and Liston might be used as a maybe substitution rather than a starting 11 player. And the one player missing is obviously starting with जैसे बात की निंदा कुमार सिकार. But I think जो भी forward select किया गया है, I think they are also in a good form. Other than Sunil Chhetri, I think all are in a good touch. For me, I would not. मतलब I think Igor Stimac तो खिलाएगा. तो I'm just saying what I feel. कि for me, I think we need to start with the Manveer, Chante, and Vikram Pratap Singh, and I would bench Sunil Chetri and come up in him is in the 60, 70 minute rather than starting, because you need to now think about the transition also. If you not try any striker, then how can you feel that how can you judge that he is he ready for international football or not?
But
And
Hiren,
अफगानिस्तान से आपको अगर आगे हायर ही अपोनेंट मिलने वाला है, इफ यू गो इनटू राउंड 3, तो वहां पे आप एक्सपेरिमेंट नहीं कर पाओगे. यू नीड टू ट्राई द प्लेयर, एंड यहाँ पे ट्राई करना पड़ेगा और थोड़ा सा गेम टाइम देना पड़ेगा. इफ यू गिव हिम ओनली 15-20 मिनट तो कैसे होगा? और एक साइड आप बोल रहे हो कि आईएसएल से हमको पता ही है कि वहां पे गेम टाइम मिलने ही नहीं वाला है. ईशान पंडित क्यों बाहर हो गया? क्योंकि गेम टाइम नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. सो इवेंचुअली कहीं ना कहीं तो आपको ट्राई करना पड़ेगा. सो ये एक एटलीस्ट एक मैच में ट्राई करें. आई एम नॉट सेइंग एट द होम ट्राई कर लो, अवे में ना ट्राई करके एट द होम ट्राई कर ले, कि किसी भी एक स्ट्राइकर को यहाँ पे आपको देना पड़ेगा मौका अदर देन सुनील छेत्री. बट ये होगा नहीं अनफॉर्चुनेटली. सो दैट्स व्हाट आई फील. अदर देन दैट ऑल दी आई थिंक फॉरवर्ड्स आर इन अ गुड फॉर्म. चांगते भी फॉर्म में वापस आ चुके हैं. मनवीर भी अच्छा खेल रहा है रिसेंटली. लिस्टन कोलासो भी अच्छा कर रहा है. विक्रम प्रताप सिंह इन रेड आउट फॉर्म. Only the concerning thing is that Sunil Chetri is not in a that great form, but I think the experience, the capabilities, the skills he possesses, I think he can deliver. So I'm happy with the forward players.
Sunil Chetri, big game. Would you drop him?
Sunil is playing both matches, and I agree with Igor Stimac. He says he'll play 180 minutes. If Sunil doesn't injure himself, he plays both the matches. That's going to happen, and therefore, I agree with Hiren that you have to build up your players, but we know what the coach thinks to some extent, right? So therefore, he will not do that. And Sunil also wants to get to those 100 goals, right? So Afghanistan, those two matches are a good chance to try and get to those 100 or closer to those 100 goals. So therefore. And therefore for me, I think we can try and play formations. I think if our attacking unit is Sunil, Chante, Vikram, and Manveer, I think that's the best. What we can get at this moment out of the team. I think that's the best we can get. Looking also at the form and looking at the opponent and looking at the. At the opponent and looking at the physicality of the opponent. I think that is something which we should not forget.
Hi, Vineet saying hi. Welcome, good evening. And Sunil Chetri is a weird topic, and I actually agree with Anu. I think in the sense that I understand what Hiren is saying. You've got to try your strikers at some point. But
देखो
unfortunately, I don't
राहुल,
this is
नहीं
the
नहीं
time.
राहुल, weird topic नहीं है, but no one is want to address the elephant in the room. Simple as that.
No,
Not
but
coach,
Hiren,
not fans, no one. Simple as that.
I think this striker testing should have been done again. We go back to the Intercontinental Cup, Tri-Nation Series. That's when you're supposed to be trying. You've not done it, and now you're expecting. I think it would be harsh on a new striker to come in and deliver straight away in a World Cup qualifier. I think that's a little too much pressure on them.
But Rahul, there is one who has delivered already in these qualifiers, and that is Manveer Singh. So therefore,
Singh,
therefore I'm saying that we do, again, yes, Hiren mentions this elephant in the room, and I think it's a problem in the sense of saying it's two ways. One, it's Sunil regarding India, but Sunil also at BFC is a discussion which you guys need to have at the club as well, and you saw that yesterday, right? And as long as if you can't sort it out, it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what is going to happen. But I think if you use, even though Manveer doesn't play the position, but I think Manveer is most probably the most fit striker to play in that position for India at the moment.
एक चीज और है कि अगर आप मान जी कि मैं राहुल आपकी बात से एग्री करता हूँ कि चलो सुनील छेत्री को इस दोनों मैच में आपने मौका दे दिया, इफ ही डिडंट एबल टू स्कोर, देन आप जो नेक्स्ट मैचेस होंगे कुवैत एंड कतर, उसमें भी क्या आप उसको कर पाओगे? वो तो स्टिल प्ले हिम। अगर इसी जगह पे कोई दूसरे स्ट्राइकर को खिला के उसने गोल नहीं मारे अफगानिस्तान के सामने, यू विल स्ट्रेट अवे ड्रॉप हिम। So now you just not only to look about the player, you need to think about the team also. ना कि you need a striker who can score now. आपको वो सोचना पड़ेगा। I मतलब सुनील छेत्री is everything. That's why I'm saying ना कि ट्रांजिशन आपको अगर करना है तो मैं ऐसा नहीं बोला कि स्ट्रेट अवे उनको ड्रॉप कर दो। जैसे लास्ट ईयर यहाँ पे साइमन ग्रेसन ने यूज किया था इफेक्टिव, करो ना। वैसे एक आध मैच में जो ट्राई कर लो, मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ, होम पे कर लो। आपने बोला सही बात है, इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल में ट्राई करना चाहिए था, बट ईगो स्टेमेज के अंदर 50 मैचेस में 42 मैचेस में सुनील छेत्री खेले हैं और 2-3 मैच वो खुद की वजह से, आई थिंक कुछ मैचेस वो खुद की वजह से इंजरी से और पर्सनल रीजन की वजह से एब्सेंट रहे। सो वो तो चांस देने ही नहीं वाले, और आप बाद में आप एक्सक्यूज देते हो कि हमारे पास ट्राई करनी है, तो आप तो ट्राई करो। आप बाकी देखो, आई थिंक कोई मेरे को आज एग्जांपल दे रहा था जब मैंने लाइव किया कि भाई कतार में भी सेम सिनेरियो, कतार में मोस्ट ऑफ दी नेशनल टीम के प्लेयर वाइड ही खेलते हैं, उनके भी स्ट्राइकर जो कतार की लीग में जो क्लब है उसमें नहीं खेलते। तो ये तो काफी जगह पे प्रॉब्लम है। तो सॉल्यूशन फिर आपको ढूंढना पड़ेगा ना, कहीं ना कहीं तो ढूंढना पड़ेगा, कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा। सिर्फ बोलते रहोगे कि भाई आईएसएल से स्ट्राइक करनी आ रहा है इसलिए नेशनल टीम में स्ट्राइक करनी है, तो आप तो कहीं पे तो मौका दे दो किसी को। 10-15 मिनट देके आप कैसे जज कर लोगे कि हाँ भाई प्लेयर ये वो है? एक बार एक मैच तो दे दो उसको।
Yeah, I think I agree in the sense that Manveer probably is a solid option because he's played enough. I think to go to a younger striker who hasn't had enough experience will be a little harsh, and it's too big a game. But yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
To me, it's a nice discussion for us to have, for the fans to have. So for me, as long as T-Much is there, and as long as Sunil has not retired from the national team, I think the coach will leave it to Sunil, and Sunil is going to start. So that's to me very, very clear that Sunil will start if he's fit and if he's willing to do it. He didn't said he's missed a few matches, again, birth of his daughter, son, and all that stuff. Otherwise, Sunil has never missed matches per se.
Yeah, signs are that he will start. But yeah, we'll. It is what it is, I guess. I think until the end of this cycle, until those 6 matches aren't over, I don't see him not starting for the Indian team. I think he will play every game. Until then, I think that's just where we are. But yeah, Hiren, we've run through the squad. Where do you stand on Manveer?
डिफेंडर्स हमने सेंटर बैक के बारे में बात नहीं की कि who will be the center back pair.
No, before we go to centre backs, I just want to ask you, if you were the manager, Manveer is a very interesting proposition because you can play him up top, down the middle, but you can also play him out wide, which Igor Stimac has done. What would you do? Would you consider playing him wide or play him down the middle?
That's why मैंने बोला ना, मेरी चॉइस थी, I would go with Manveer, Changte and Vikram, who can, all three player can interchange. जिस तरह से मुंबई सिटी में हमने देखा कि चांगते, बिपिन एंड विक्रम, आप देखिए कि बार बार बीच में इंटरचेंज कर रहे थे। तो देखिए आपके पास प्रॉपर अगर स्ट्राइकर नहीं है आउट एंड आउट, देन यू नीड टू फाइंड अदर सॉल्यूशन कि किसी फॉल्स नहीं या फिर बाकी प्लेयर को किस तरह से यूटिलाइज करके आप खेल सकते हो। तो कहीं ना कहीं तो आपको सॉल्यूशन ढूंढना पड़ेगा। आप सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम ही, मेरा सिर्फ कहने का मतलब वही है कि चाहे कोई से भी प्लेयर को यूज करो, सुनील छेत्री को करो या बाकी किसी भी प्लेयर को करो, सॉल्यूशन तो आपको निकालना पड़ेगा ना। आप एक ही बात को बार बार एक्सक्यूज बना के तो नहीं बोल सकते ना कि ये चीज नहीं थी इसलिए हम नहीं कर पा रहे। कहीं ना कहीं तो, क्योंकि इंडिया चाहे भले ही लास्ट ईयर 3 टाइटल जीता था, लेकिन एक प्रॉब्लम सबको विजिबल है और ईगो स्टिमिच ने भी एशियन कप से पहले एक्सेप्ट किया था कि फाइनल थर्ड में हमारी डिसीजन मेकिंग एंड हमारा जो क्या बोलते कि गोल स्कोरिंग है वो स्टिल नीड्स टू बी इम्प्रूव, जिस तरह के चांस बनते हैं। सो कहीं ना कहीं तो आपको वो सॉल्यूशन ढूंढना पड़ेगा, एंड वो अगर आप नहीं ढूंढते देन डेफिनेटली वो होता है। तो फॉर मी आई थिंक आई विल गो विथ मनवीर, चांगते एंड विक्रम। दैट्स इंटरेस्टिंग फ्रंट थ्री। बट आई डोंट थिंक सो कि ईगो में ऐसा कोई रिस्क लेगा. आई थिंक अगर आप स्क्वाड भी देखेंगे तो उसमें भी आप देखिए उन्होंने कोई एशियन कप से कोई बड़ा चेंज नहीं किया है. He gone with the almost the same squad. So due to the injuries, एक आध दो प्लेयर इधर उधर हुए हैं. एंड जय गुप्ता, एम रानावड़े, इमरान खान, ये तीन ही नए एडिशन है. अदर देन दैट आर ऑल दी प्लेयर जो ऑलमोस्ट स्टार्टिंग 11 के प्लेयर तो आपको सेम ही दिखेंगे. अगर आप एशियन कप की स्कोर उठा के देख लोगे या फिर अफगानिस्तान वाली देखोगे, स्टार्टिंग 11 में आई डोंट सी एनी टू मेनी चेंजेस. एक विक्रम प्रताप सिंह की एंट्री हो सकती है, उसका भी मेरे को तो डाउट लग रहा है. आई डोंट सी मतलब ईगो स्टूमिट की डायरेक्ट उसको स्टार्ट करवा दे. बट लेट्स सी. अगर he should be starting, but let's see.
Let's see, Arnav. Interesting question. What do we make of Mehtab selection? Um, we just don't. We just have three centre halves, I think, in the squad.
Well, that's the whole discussion regarding centre backs, right? I mean, the whole discussion was about Sana, and Sana was not taken. So therefore, Danchanunga is injured. And that's the end of the list, right? We don't have too many centre backs at the moment. Some of the centre backs have gone to the under 23s.
Exactly that. Beneath, we did discuss Imran. I think I think we're unanimous in agreement that he's deserves to be in the squad, but I don't think he's going to get too many minutes because you already got settled players in that position, and that's just unfortunate at this point in time. Hiren, on the centre halves, is it sure shot Rahul Beki and Anwar Ali?
I think so. I think so. Igor Stimic will start with Rahul Beke and Anwar Ali. To be honest, I don't see Mehtab Singh starting. Or maybe I think you never know. Subhash Bose को भी उन्होंने एशियन कप में एट द मोमेंट खिला दिया था. So, but it's look like कि Rahul Beke and Anwar Ali at the moment.
It does seem pretty straightforward. It doesn't look like we've got. There is a sort of discussion we've had, and I again we're back to it. So I was saying, I know I think you and I had a lengthy discussion on this when BFC had played a couple of games ago, and he's now playing that CDM role, but very comfortable at centre back. I think weirdly he is adapted to that number 6 role as well. So surprising exclusion for you.
It's been a surprising inclusion for quite a while, in my opinion. I mean, Sana, yeah, even to me, potentially was an Asian Cup centre back, but for some reasons or other, So for me, I don't know. I don't know that how Sana. I still haven't been able to find out if there is an issue between the coach and the player. That's my only logic. If there's something that we've had seen between the coach and Apuja in the past, because otherwise Sana is not only part of the squad, but to me Sana is a starting centre back for India.
And Hiren, isn't it sort of the perfect time for him to come into the squad and start because you're missing Sandesh Jingan, you need that partner for Anwar Ali, and he can play that right side of the two centre halves, and he's quite comfortable on the ball.
कंप्लीटली एग्री. साना सिंह की जब एशियन कप की भी डिस्कशन हुई थी तब भी हमने बात की थी. क्योंकि देखिए हैदराबाद एफसी चाहे जैसा भी कर रही हो उसने अपने हिसाब से अच्छा किया था. इंडिविजुअल परफॉर्मेंस अगर आप उसकी स्टेट्स भी उठा के देखोगे अच्छे स्टेट्स है. ऐसा नहीं है कि बिल्कुल बेकार सा उन्होंने किया है. और हैदराबाद एफसी में भी जब थी तब हैदराबाद एफसी ने ऐसा नहीं था कि 4-4 5-5 गोल खाए थे जब वो सेंटर बैक पैर पे थे. और बीएफसी ने भी नहीं खाया है. सो आई थिंक he should be considered. पहले भी खेल चुके हैं नेशनल टीम के लिए, एक्सपीरियंस है. एंड he deserve to be into the as a center back rather than playing a makeshift center back. You have a proper center back who is doing a good. ऐसा नहीं है कि बेकार खेल रहा है. So he should be considered, but unfortunately उसको नहीं कंसिडर किया है. So that the thing. Otherwise Anwar Ali and Sana Singh will be my first choice as a center back.
Yep, I wouldn't mind this pairing as well. Sushi Bose and Anwar Ali. I think right-footed, left-footed players. They've got some. It just looks a lot better and looks clean. Hiren, your favorite player? Who's Deepak referring to?
अच्छा अरे अच्छा वो खाबरा साहब.
अच्छा.
ईस्ट बंगाल.
Yeah, I mean, there's no discussion needed. Hiren didn't even give an explanation. He's just like, you take the name and let's finish the discussion. But yeah, I don't know any other players that you would have liked to see from a defensive perspective in this team.
I've been thinking. I mean, some people were mentioning names. Alex Saji was being mentioned, but Sanjay Kamaka doesn't make the cut for the national team. I mean, there are certain players that people want to see, but again, they've played a few good games, and then calling them up for the national team, to me, you have to have at least a good season and or more. So yeah, that's the thing. And Eagles team much. Hopefully, that Ankit Mukherjee example is a little bit of sarcasm and nothing more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely sure it's sarcasm. If it's not,
I
then
mean, the problem is Ankit Mukherjee struggles against me in 5-a-side, so I don't know how he's going to play 11-a-side for the Indian team. So that's to put things into perspective.
yeah. So that's where we are. Hiren, anything else you'd like to add, share on this?
ब्रॉडकास्टिंग का अपडेट अभी आ रहा है कि अभी तक क्लियर कट नहीं है कि ड्यू टू दी अवे फिक्सर्स का क्लियर कट नहीं है. होम पे तो स्पोर्ट 18 के पास है ब्रॉडकास्टिंग राइट, पर जो अवे वाला मैच है उसका अभी कोई क्लियर कट है नहीं. यहाँ पे अफगानिस्तान एफ से बात की है, ऐसी न्यूज आ रही है. सो लेट्स सी यहाँ पे ब्रॉडकास्टिंग का क्या अपडेटिंग लिखा आता है. और दूसरा जो अफगानिस्तान वाला है उसकी स्क्वाड में भाई अभी एट दी मोमेंट जो उनकी फर्स्ट चॉइस टीम है उसमें से काफी सारे प्लेयर, जैसे सर ने भी स्टार्टिंग में बोला कि अवेलेबल नहीं है. एक आध दो प्लेयर ही वापस आए हैं, बाकी प्लेयर जो स्टार्टिंग 11 के प्लेयर बाकी प्लेयर नहीं आए हैं. सो वो भी एक इनप्रेडिक्टेबिलिटी है कि उनके कौन कौन से प्लेयर यहाँ पे है. सो ये दोनों चीज है, अभी उसके लिए अनसर्टेनिटी है. एंड टीम आज ट्रैवल कर चुकी है. एफसी गोवा बेंगलुरु वाले प्लेयर कल ट्रैवल करने वाले हैं, ऐसी न्यूज है. सो लेट्स सी, आई थिंक वही न्यूज है. अदर देन दैट तो heard that Mumbai are front in race to sign Divanta Kustum to BFC.
Okay.
So then let's see.
Yeah, Anava, anything else to add on the Indian national team?
No. I mean, it was mentioned a little earlier, which of course is sadly realities of AFF. That the president said that there would be a charter flight, and then the charter flight never happened. And again, if anyone expected a charter flight to happen, including Mr. Steemach, then I could have said from the start, it's not going to happen. It's not that easy to say, listen, we're going to get a charter flight and all. Federation doesn't have the money and to get an aircraft and then to get landing rights and all that stuff. I mean, due to work, I fly a lot and have flown on charter flights in my life a few times. It's not as easy.
ये जो ईगो स्टिमिट ने रेस किया है, थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में डिस्कस करते हैं कि एएफएफ ने जो बजट किया है अप्रूव, उसमें जो आपके मेन कॉम्पिटिशन है सारे आपके अंडर 17 के 2023 के बाकी सारी मैच है उसमें, और आई लीग 2 उन सब में उन्होंने कटौती की. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दैट सर? बिकॉज़ ऑलरेडी अगर आप इस सीजन देखेंगे
इस सीजन Igor Steemach here writing in the chat that the budget increased by 20. No, the budget has not been increased. The budget has been decreased. Right?
Decreased.
So the reality is that the ongoing season's budget is relatively high compared to what it was in the past. Now the question is, the federation is unable to get in new money. I think that's the biggest challenge. But that's what. If you remember the presentation, you wanted to take it to 5,000 crores. You're not able to fund a 120 crore budget. So these are realities. I was speaking to someone who was a senior guy in marketing and ad agency, and we were talking about how football is, and more money should be coming in. And he jokingly said, "Listen, I have sponsors who rather would put 10 crores into cricket than 50 lakh into football." That's the reality. And this is something with the whole news factor and how things are at the moment. It's too much of negativity, So the point is, that's the challenge. That's the challenge, to ensure that your budget runs. I think the federation in an Indian system has been giving too many grants to state associations and to clubs. I think they need to start funding themselves. If the AFF doesn't have the money, the AFF can't be funding everyone. And despite all of this, the AFF still gets all the blame. I think we need a restructuring of how this all runs. Otherwise, everyone is, the AFF is to blame, but everybody wants something from the AFF. And it doesn't work that way.
Exactly, sir. मेरा वही पॉइंट है कि आपने जो 20 करोड़ का कंपटीशन में कटौती की है, ऑलरेडी वी सीन दिस इज एन आई लीग 2 और उन सब का जिस तरह से ऑर्गेनाइज हुआ, उसमें ऑलरेडी कुछ खामियां थी, तो अगर आपने नेक्स्ट सीजन तो और ज्यादा बजट में कटौती कर दी है, सो आपकी जो प्रायोरिटीज है, आपने संतोष ट्रॉफी में कुछ कटौती नहीं की। मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा संतोष ट्रॉफी नहीं होना चाहिए, होना ही चाहिए, बट आपकी जो प्रायोरिटी, आपने जो इस सीजन इस साल एशियन कप में अंडर 17 का जो क्वालिफायर्स है उसको प्रायोरिटी नहीं दी है, उसका बजट में फुल कटौती कर दी है आपने। अंडर 20 अंडर 23 के लिए कोई अलोकेट नहीं किया है,
Wait,
इंटरनेशनल
wait,
फ्रेंडलीज का
you
कट
are,
आउट कर दिया है।
Hiren, your first problem in this whole thing is that all of this is based on an article that Dhiman is written in the HT. So therefore, I think that there will be adjustments in that budgetary allocation. And I think they will try and get more government support. But again, the government support problem, what is the problem at the moment? You've got elections coming up. So therefore, the government is not bothered about supporting anyone. The government has its own issues and own problems. And Bosman, to talk about corruption again, if there isn't that much of money, I don't know how you will work around the corruption factor, right? I mean, there is not that much money that there are thousands of crores flying around where you can actually make that. It doesn't make sense to me at least. So the thing around, that's what happening. And the reality is that football needs to concentrate and find the right things to support, and that's going to be the challenge in this whole thing for the AFF to try with the money that they have. They cannot sustain the structure. Let's be very, very clear. With 120 crores, with whatever you have at the moment, you will not sustain. You need at least 200. Ideally, you would most have 250, 300 crores to spend. That's the reality. And that is the difficulty of the AFF. You see how the ISL has cut out a lot of things, because at the moment, I think the challenge is to keep everything alive. That is now the challenge. I think a lot of people should understand that with the old AFF, with everything that has been said by a lot of people, that is something that needs to be seen. So therefore, yeah, let's wait and see. And Roshan, I don't know if that money that has been cut from the youth section has actually gone to the senior national team or not, because I think there were some increments which were involved in certain contracts of national team staff and other things. Therefore, the budget has to grow that way, right? So therefore, I don't know. I have not, again, we can have a proper conversation on this if we have the real budgets lying in front of us and have a conversation. It's we're all, again, everyone seems to have read the same article, and all of us seem to know what the numbers are at the AFF, and I think no one, I to some extent maybe, but I don't know if anybody else really knows what the numbers are. Sorry to say that. It's just speculation which is happening.
Yep. Dangerous, isn't it, Anu? And when we are speculating here, we're not very
No,
clear.
it's a problem, right? Because again, there's a budget. The AFF has to try and run is under these difficult circumstances. I think the AFF's problem is, again, especially the president has said a lot of things over the last 18 months, but the reality is another one. I think that's the thing, right? And it's nothing to do with this thing or that thing or what is going to happen, how it's going to happen. Again, it's like the VR thing. I mean, if VR is coming, is anyone being trained at the moment for VR? That we could do potentially VR next season? I've not heard anything. So how are you going to implement VR if you don't have the referees who are trained as VR referees? That will take at least 6 months to 12 months, which means before 2025, it's not going to happen. We have the whole FSDL AFF issue over there. Why would anyone invest into things? So these are the brutal realities. Everyone wants things, but we have to live in the real world and not live in, as I like to say, in La La Land. That this is going to happen, that's going to happen. People, the owners in the ISL are losing money. Reliance is losing money. The AFF doesn't have enough money, and nobody wants to come forward. I mean, again, The people who work in marketing don't want to even work to bring in money into football because they don't see the value in it.
Yeah. That's just where we stand, I guess. Unfortunately.
Sorry to say that,
Yeah.
yeah, but these are realities of where Indian football stands today.
We've got Anwar. I think is always there to burst that bubble, but we need it, and I think everybody needs to know what exactly the realities are. And yeah, but another reality is that we have got these two games against Afghanistan coming up, and we're hoping that the Indian national team sort of puts a good performance out there, picks up 6 points, and really assures that they'll be qualifying for round three of the qualifiers. And I just hope that it happens and we get through. So yeah, thanks guys for sort of joining us in this chat. We've gone through the squad that has been announced, the final squad for these couple of games against Afghanistan. Again, as we go get closer to the game, we'll discuss lineups. But again, we'll get your take on it and we'll discuss all of that. We'll as we get closer. Also, we'll discuss potential watch-alongs, what we're going to do on match day, and you guys can join us and have some fun as well. Please like and share the video. Subscribe to all the channels, Sports Kabli, Arun Foot, and Curious Harry. I will be back. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.